Hello dear students, welcome back to the YouTube channel of NIRS of class 7 science. Dear students, in the previous class I have started the new lesson, that is motion and time. So in the first class we have discussed about the concept of speed and slow and fast. Okay, so the vehicles which are moving in the same direction and the position of the vehicles which are moving in a different direction, okay, after some time, so that we have discussed, okay, and the distance covered by them, okay, so that we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, we often say that the faster vehicle has a higher speed. In a 1,000 meter running race, we say that it is very easy to decide that whose speed is the highest, and one who takes the shortest time to cover the distance of 100 meters has the highest speed. So now, so what exactly the speed is? Okay, so it is not the speed which the vehicle runs. Okay, so that is also associated with that. So let us understand what exactly the concept of speed is. Okay, so today let me explain you about the speed. So probably we are all much familiar with the word speed. Okay, in the examples which is given just now, okay, about the vehicle which is moving in a road, and we people running in a race, 100-meter race. Okay, so higher speed seems to indicate that a given distance has been covered in a short time. Okay, so it means what? The higher speed is nothing but what? So it is indicating the distance covered, the given distance is covered in a very shorter time, or a larger distance covered in a given time. Either the distance covered in a short time or a larger distance covered in a given time. So that is associated with this concept. So the most convenient way to find out which of the two or more objects is moving faster is to compare the distances moved by them in a unit time or given time. So thus, if we know the distance covered by the two buses in 1 hour, we can tell that which one is slower, which one is faster. Okay, we call the distance covered by an object in an unit time is the speed of the object. All of you remember here, this is very important. Yes, so the distance covered by an object, the distance covered by an object, okay, in a unit time is known as the speed of an object. So what is the distance covered by that object in a given time? Unit time means in a given time is known as speed of that object, that you must remember. So when we say that a car is moving with a speed of 50 kilometer per hour, suppose one car is moving at a distance at a speed of 50 kilometer per hour, it shows or it implies that it will cover a distance of 950 kilometers in 1 hour, in 1 hour. Okay, so if we say that the distance of a car, okay, so the car is moving with a speed of 50 kilometer per hour, if we say, it shows that, it implies that, so it will cover a distance of 15 kilometer, 50 kilometer in 1 hour. Okay, so however, the car moves with a contrast speed for an hour. Okay, in fact, it starts moving slowly initially, then picks up its speed. So when we say that the car has a speed of 50 kilometer per hour, we usually consider only the total distance covered by it in 1 hour. Okay, we consider the total distance covered by that vehicle in 1 hour. Okay, we do not bother whether the car has been moving with a larger speed. Okay, it has been moving with a higher speed or a constant speed or not during that hour. Okay, yes, we don't think about that. Okay, so we only consider the total distance covered by that vehicle in 1 hour. The speed calculated here is actually the average speed of the car. So whatever the speed we are calculating here, it is actually the average speed of the car. So in this book we study about the concept of the term speed for average speed. Okay, so for us the speed is the total distance covered by the object divided by the total time taken. Okay, so we must understand that the speed is the total distance covered by that an object divided by the time taken to complete that. Okay, so here the speed is equal to total distance covered divided by time taken by to cover that object to cover that distance. So in everyday life we find objects moving with a constant speed over a long distances. Okay, so in everyday we find that the objects are moving with a constant speed over a long distances. Okay, So for a long durations of time sometimes, okay, if the speed of an object moving along a straight line, if any object speed of an object is moving along a straight line, okay, if it keeps changing, then such type of motion is called non-uniform motion. So on the other hand, if an object, see, that is called as what? Non-uniform motion. So what is that non-uniform motion means? If the speed of an object moving along a straight line, okay, but it keeps changing, the speed is continuously changing. It may be running with a 30 kilometer per hour, then 60 kilometer per hour, then 80 kilometer per hour, okay. So if the speed of an object, even if it is traveling in a straight line, if it is keep changing, then it is called as non-uniform motion, then it is called as non-uniform motion. On the other hand, if an object is moving along a straight line with the constant speed, okay, there is no change in the speed of the object, if it is moving with a constant speed, then it is called uniform motion, then it is called as what? Uniform motion. So in this case, what happens? The average speed is the same as the actual speed. Average speed is same as the actual speed. So we can even determine the speed of the given object once we can measure the time taken by it to cover the distance, certain distance, okay. So we have already studied how to measure the distances. So how do we measure the time? So that also let us understand that in, okay, that is comes under measurement of time. So we will measure the time using different materials, okay, approximately. So in the older days, they used to measure with the approximately, okay. So time of the day, just by looking at their shadows, they used to find out the approximately. So how do we measure the time interval of a month or a year? Okay, so our ancestors, they noticed that many events in the nature have been repeated themselves after definite interval of time. They observed that. So many things, events, they have been occurring in the nature, okay, they have been repeated for definite they've been repeated themselves after certain period of intervals of time. For example, we found that the sun rises every day. Yes, today it rises in the morning, again next day, again next day. So it is a repeated action, so they know the time period of that, okay. And the time between one sunrise to one next sunrise, it was called a day. They found it as one day. Similarly, a month was measured from one new moon to next new moon, okay. This is the time period. A year was fixed as the time taken to complete a rotation by the earth, to complete one rotation, not rotation, complete one revolution around the sun. So that is known as a 1 year. So like that, we need to measure intervals of time which are much shorter than a day, okay. So clocks or watches are being used nowadays for measuring the time devices nowadays, okay. Yes, so remaining thing, let me explain you in tomorrow's class. Thank you and have a nice day.